Almost all my time focusing on music.
One of the closest things we got was Titanfall 2 actually, with its time jumping levels that were of course quite different. The Medium had something like it, but a lot of that was leveraged into visual impact rather than ingenious puzzle design or opening up new exploration paths. Either way, it was cool because the idea of staying in place but moving through dimensions is always cool. So, I had been paying attention to Lords of the Fallen, but not close attention. I'd seen some trailers, they look pretty flashy. I'd seen some Souls-like combat and I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. Another Souls-like, fair enough. I was still keen for it because I love me some Souls-likes, but I wasn't expecting anything particularly new or innovative. So I sit down for my preview and almost immediately I'm introduced to the Umbral Lantern. I bring it up with L2 and its light allows me to peer into the Umbral Realm, the land of the dead that exists parallel to Axiom, the land of the living. The first showcase of this mechanic was a large door which appeared to be inaccessible and unresponsive. It was only when I raised the Umbral lamp that I could see that it was festooned with Umbral rot and I had to clear that rot if I wanted to progress. This is where things started to get really wild because not only can I see this Umbral world, but at any time with the press of a button I can transition into it, abandoning my physical form to move into this new space with new pathways, new pitfalls, and unique foes which can only be found in this realm. It was here that I'd find these nodes needed to break the Umbral rot, and after finding a place where I could reincarnate, I came back to the Axiom realm so I could interact with the door and continue on my journey. That was a really conservative showcase of how this mechanic works. Later on, I would discover large gaps between platforms that seemed inaccessible until I held up my lamp, revealing a bridge I could walk over. Innocuous walls that seemed to hold no secret could not withstand the lamp's scrutiny, revealing new pathways or treasures. When in the Umbral realm, I could use the lamp to pull platforms towards me. At one point, there was a body of water that I couldn't cross, so I transitioned into the Umbral realm, and I was like, oh yeah baby, this is just Soul Reaver, and I'm totally into this. From a straight up environmental design perspective, this dual world system is brilliant, and it makes the process of exploring these very narrow linear spaces very interesting because every square inch of them may hold a secret waiting to be revealed by your lamp's light. It's novel within the Souls-like space, since those games are typically focused on combat. The enemies are the puzzle in those games. But here, enemies are just one type of puzzle, the other being the relationship between these two worlds. Not for nothing, but the lamp has plenty of utility in combat as well. You can use it to rip the soul out of an enemy, forcing that enemy to slowly float after it, and if you strike that soul, you'll do massive damage. There's a whole other system at work in the Umbral realm, one that sees you drawing life essences from these blister things hidden in the environment. It's cool, it's clever, and I really liked it. For me, this is what made my time with Lords of the Fallen really enjoyable. We've played so many Souls-likes to this point, and so many of them are good, the worst thing that any up-and-comer developer could do would just be to make another one without trying to find the differentiating factor to set their game apart. From what I can tell, Hexworks are pinning their hopes on visuals and world design and this dual world mechanic, in large part because they know they've got something good going on in these departments, but also perhaps because they know that when it comes to the combat side of the equation, they're fighting an uphill battle, one that they are unlikely to win. Lords of the Fallen is clearly responding to the biggest criticism leveled at the first game, namely the fact that it was slow and clunky. I played as the Dark Paladin class during this preview playthrough. He wields a big two-hander, he wears heavy armor, and at no point did I feel slow and clunky. He felt very quick, very responsive, positively spry for a man wearing a few dozen kilos of iron plating. In this way, Lords of the Fallen feels fast and fluid and fun in a way that its predecessor just didn't. But it also doesn't feel as good as many of its contemporaries. It can feel a little floaty, hit detection can be a little wonky, your core combos don't click together as elegantly as you might like, enemy animations can be a bit stiff and mechanical, and iframes seem to be a bit inconsistent in a way that benefits the player that also looks kind of goofy. There is a melee stance system which does add depth to combat. In my case, I could switch between a stance that focused on more narrow arcs with longer reach, or another stance with wider arcs but less reach. To be honest, they felt kind of the same, these two stances, but I will say that there are a lot of weapons in this game, so this may have just been one where the stance differences don't feel as potent as it might on others. Enemy design was also not doing a whole lot, to be honest. Again, this is an early game, but even then, none of the trash mobs I squared off against posed much of a threat, even when in large numbers. They didn't have the sorts of surprise actions or timing windows that might throw you off your guard, keep you on your toes. For that reason, exploration lacked the tension often present in these sorts of games. It's by no means bad, and I want to be super clear about that. I did not walk away from this game thinking, uh-oh. It was more a case of, okay, I know what this is, and I know where to set my expectations. Obviously, FromSoft games set a very high bar, but I'd argue that Deck 13 did a great job with the Surge's combat, and I think Team Ninja crush it every single time with the likes of Neo and Wulong. At least based on these first 2 hours, I don't expect that Lords of the Fallen will reach those sorts of combat benchmarks, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Again, I only played one class, one weapon type, and I only fought a few bosses. Maybe it opens up a lot more as I get deeper into it, but for now, I'm much more looking forward to the world design and exploration side of the equation than I am the combat, which I know is going to be a deal breaker for many. Personally, I'm on board with what Hexworks are trying to do here, so yeah, I'm keen for more. One thing I'm keeping an eye on is performance. I do want to reiterate that this is a preview build and performance improvements can and likely will happen before launch, but at the same time, we're only around 7 weeks from launch, which isn't a huge amount of time. I played on a gaming laptop with an RTX 3080 Ti, and it was not running super well. When I started tinkering with settings, I noticed it was set to 4K, max settings, DLSS off, and I'm like, okay, well, there's your problem. So I dropped it to 1440p, I turned DLSS on, and it really didn't make that much of a difference. I definitely noticed more than a few frame drops, and there were lots of textures that took a long time to load in, both during cutscenes and during regular gameplay. I wouldn't categorize it as worrying, but I definitely file it under watch this space. Remnant 2 recently launched, and it was basically the first Unreal Engine 5 game to arrive this generation outside of Fortnite. Remnant 2 has given more than a few PC players plenty of grief on the performance front, so my advice is the same advice I always give. Never pre-order, and be sure to check reviews before slapping down your cash. There are some performance question marks raised here for me that I'll be looking to get to the bottom of when I do my full review in October. So in closing, I come back to what I mentioned a few times in this review, which is that I am into this. The Souls-like subgenre is often inventive when it comes to visual design or interconnected levels, but puzzle solving is rarely a feature of those worlds. Exploration is about felling your foes, picking up the souls they leave behind, following a path that is usually pretty unmissable. Lords of the Fallen is not like that. I absolutely got stuck at a few points, not on bosses or trash mobs, but on exploration-based puzzles where I wasn't thinking interdimensionally enough. It takes time to wrap your head around it, to be honest. It requires you to be more thorough in the way you explore your environments than most Souls-like demand. But once you get into that rhythm, I found it to be a really rewarding loop. It's a loop that I think kind of makes up for the fact that combat isn't popping off for me as much as I'd like. There's obviously a lot more to play around with that I haven't had the chance to see yet, but some of the combat's foundational elements left me feeling a little lukewarm, which is a bummer, sure, but it's absolutely not a deal breaker for me. I definitely saw enough here to pique my interest. I was worried that this would be just another Souls-like, uninterested in bringing anything new to the formula, but Hexworks aren't going in that direction. They're pushing into some new territory here, or at least new in the modern era, since the parallels to Legacy of Kain are both inescapable and awesome. I'm keen to play more, and I will do so when I review the game in October, so I'll see you then.
See ya.
Guys, if you've been around the channel for a while now, you'd know that my good friends Steel Series, they've been supporting what we do around here, and I'm always proud to have them as a partner because they consistently put out some of the best stuff in each of their chosen categories. Mice, keyboards, headsets, and more. All of it is industry leading and award winning, and if you don't believe me, just go look up the reviews. I use Steel Series in my own personal setup. My mouse is an Aerox 5. Absolutely love this thing, whether it's wired or wireless. Super light, super comfortable, and extremely accurate thanks to Steel Series' TrueMove Air Precision optical gaming sensor with true one-to-one tracking. What is this mouse gliding on? Why, it's the QCK Prism XL, a plus-size mouse pad with a stylish RGB trim. It comes in a variety of sizes, some of them bigger than your actual desk, for real. My keyboard is this bad boy, the Apex 7. In addition to full RGB and mechanical switches, this thing also sports an OLED smart display and a very comfortable detachable magnetic wrist. It's a keyboard so good that GameSpot awarded it their Best Gaming Keyboard Award, and yeah, I fully agree with that endorsement. My favorite piece of kit though is undoubtedly this thing, the Arctis Nova Pro wireless headset. This is basically Steel Series' flagship product, and it's racked up a ton of awards since its release last year. The Arctis Nova Pro Series headset comes in PlayStation, Xbox, and PC variants, but they support multi-system connect, allowing you to connect a PC and multiple consoles at the same time, so you can just switch between them. That's done through this sexy-looking dedicated audio controller, which not only handles that, but also lets you control volume, chat mix levels, switch audio modes, tweak EQ, and more. It comes in both wired and wireless variants, and if you're using the wireless version, you can hotspot batteries, since the headset comes with 2 batteries that support
Starfield.
In the coming days, arguably the most important exclusive, at least in the last
I want
decade or
Starfield
so,
to be good.
Microsoft is set to launch with Starfield, the space sci-fi RPG coming from Bethesda Game Studios. Obviously, this game was announced before Bethesda was even acquired by Microsoft, and there is a lot of pressure on Bethesda to deliver. Not necessarily just in regards to Microsoft's pipeline and whether or not this is going to be like their big success story that they can tout and get people to subscribe to Game Pass, but also just in regards to Bethesda Game Studios, because after Fallout 76 and even Fallout 4 to a degree, there have been a lot of question marks, a lot of, let's just say, doubts and concerns, a lot of them that I voiced myself. Let's be honest though, Fallout 76 existed for one purpose, and that was to milk the Fallout franchise until Bethesda gets around to making a new game, which maybe that's in 2035 or so. But Fallout 76 was inundated with bugs, it was a messy launch, and it took years to get that game into a state which is pretty decent. Even now, I think there's a lot of mistakes that have been made with it. Bethesda also didn't deliver on a lot of the promises that they made, especially in regards to mod support, but people, I guess, just forgot about that. Now, with Starfield, this is a fresh start. We've heard in numerous interviews over the last couple of years Todd Howard tout the improvements that they've made to their game engine, the improvements that they've made to their animation system. And we've seen some of that within the gameplay and trailers that have been released. But Starfield is a different beast in many regards to Fallout and the Elder Scrolls. It's doing things that we've never seen from Bethesda Game Studios. Procedural generation on this scale with space exploration, seeing how all of that performs without bugs, that's something that a lot of people have been concerned by. We also have the introduction of space combat, and Bethesda in the past with vehicle anything, it's not exactly worked all that great. So seeing all of this come together, that has been the big question mark. But Bethesda has done some things that have been questionable lately. Microsoft actually recently axed Game Pass's free trial ahead of Starfield's launch, which is kind of funny, but I mean, when people aren't going to be spending $70 on the game, Microsoft's got to try to ensure that they're making as much money as possible through those Game Pass subscriptions. So this isn't really that much of a surprise, but it still is kind of funny to me, at least a little. We did see this is something that's been talked to death the last couple of years. Todd Howard defending the decision for 30 FPS. He's talked about it in other interviews.
Gotcha.
He prioritizes visual fidelity over performance. Again, don't need to dive into that can of worms, but we also did see this announcement, which was kind of odd back in June. Starfield announcing an AMD partnership. The big thing is that a lot of people have NVIDIA graphics cards, and DLSS is just far superior to AMD's FSR. So it was just something that was odd. The only thing that I can make sense of about this is maybe that this was a deal that was announced or made before Microsoft acquired Bethesda. That's the only suspicion I have about this. And based on some of the early data mining that we have seen, Starfield's PC release might not have DLSS according to the pre-reload files, but this isn't where this story ends, because Starfield is actually getting a DLSS 3 mod at launch despite AMD's partnership. And the reason why this is going to be happening day one is because Bethesda gave one of the lead modders that is going to be working on this a review code about a week and a half before the game launched. So clearly they're making up for it. Obviously it sucks that there's not going to be official support, but this is just one of those weird things. A lot of people didn't understand why Bethesda partnered with AMD, and AMD did say, for what it's worth, that they weren't preventing DLSS support, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be there. Just a weird situation overall. And I've talked about it before. Fallout 76, this still, say what you will about Bethesda Maryland and their involvement in Fallout 76, but this is a game that a lot of people talk about in regards to concerns with Starfield. And people still are bringing up, and we're actually seeing PC Gamer popping up their old articles about Fallout 4, good game, bad RPG. So yeah, there is a lot of negative energy in the air surrounding Starfield right now. Some of it is very odd. Like, we had somebody pointing out Game Rant has run just numerous negative articles about Starfield the last couple of months. And as somebody who has been going after Bethesda for a lot of the BS shenanigans that they've pulled the last couple of years, even I'm like, Jesus, okay guys, we can calm it down a little bit. Starfield's loss is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora's game. Starfield's loss is a game for Naughty Dog's rumored sci-fi game. Redfall's shaky launch has left Starfield fans concerned. That's kind of valid. That was something that was felt a couple of months ago before the gameplay showcase. But there have been other articles. Starfield has some of the worst post-adult fun dialogue I've ever seen. We talked about that when the ESRB ratings leaked, and I mean, life is a STD that's 100% fatal. I'm all for getting a little wild, but next time let's try without the jetpacks. Talk about seeing stars. Phew, that was amazing. It's cheesy dialogue. I don't think this ever at all mattered, and I don't... Who cares? That's my opinion on that. We did see this other article. Starfield's vision of the final frontier makes space seem like a boring, barren expanse. It's... yeah. And then another one. Starfield already has a negative review on Metacritic. This was one of those funny things that got by. I'm not sure how Metacritic allowed it, but somebody got an early review and giving the game a 0 out of 10. And they obviously say that Starfield Super Special 76 Edition. But ultimately what we are seeing with Starfield right now is that this has become... it's the fanboyism console wars, in which PlayStation fans are trying to destroy the game. Xbox fans are trying to uplift this game as it's the best thing since bread. It's a little ridiculous, all of the, let's just say, outrage that we're seeing online, especially on Twitter right now. But we actually did see that somebody is planning a review bombing and a boycott campaign ahead of the game's launch. Somebody's sharing that they started at count 1 out of 1,000 to destroy Starfield's review score on Metacritic. Reason, I don't get what's benefit from that at all. It just seems ridiculous in my opinion. We then saw another Game Rant article. Starfield Shattered Space may already be in a rough spot. This is DLC for the game. The game hasn't even released and we're already having articles like this. Then we saw the live action trailer for Starfield popped up, and they said it probably inspires more emotion than the entire game will. Say what you will, but Bethesda has quite a negative opinion of them within gaming press, which is kind of wild in my opinion. Then we have seen this conversation, which again goes back to the console war nonsense. Starfield fans are melting down over invisible walls and the possible limits of exploration. Again, I can't share any footage that has been shown. I think there are leaked images in this article, but pretty much somebody who I guess got early access to Starfield walked one of the planets for about 10 minutes, and they realized that eventually there are borders that you can't walk the entire planet like it's No Man's Sky or Minecraft pretty much, which I think that was kind of what a lot of, I mean, the fact that Bethesda is
Come
even getting
on.
any of this working
You
with
got some
their
more juice
engine
in
is
ya.
just shocking to me. We've seen how that engine worked in past
Gotcha.
Fallout and Elder Scrolls games, and the fact that it's still here in 2023 and it's doing things like space combat feels like an accomplishment in my mind.
God.
But I just was never
Heal!
expecting that you're going to be able to walk the entire planet all at once. Like, of course, there's going to be loading screens and some other stuff that you're going to have to go through, some menus and such. And I guess some people are very surprised by this revelation. We had somebody sharing one of the videos, which has now been copyright striked. This has like 8,000 likes, and I really think Bethesda
my
should have
God.
made it clear before launch that you can't do one interrupted run around a planet. It's actually really weird that they've never mentioned this until it got leaked. And a lot of the people that's excited for Starfield.
Damn.
And again, I think it's the problem. A lot of people just made assumptions about it because people are sharing videos from what Todd Howard and Pete Hines have said about Starfield, and none of them say explicitly that you can go through the entire planet all at once. There is going to be loading.
This is a
like,
close quarters fight. I want to
the whole
switch my
planet,
missiles.
but there is going to be some borders and stuff that you have to deal with. As you can see, somebody brings up this, they're calling Todd Howard a liar, and this is the video that they're talking about, which I believe is from last year, in which we got that Starfield presentation.
You can land in New Atlantis, but you can also land and explore
Songbirds.
anywhere on the planet.
Yes, and that's exactly what you can do. You just can't do it all
that's
at once.
nasty.
Like, you can't go from this part of the map to that part of the map all at once. Like, there's going to be a loading screen or somewhere else you have to land. So I don't think... That's why I feel like people are being very nitpicky with this game. But, I mean, that's the anticipation and the hype surrounding this game, in which a lot of people are trying to take it down and others are trying to uplift it to the moon. Now, we have seen Bethesda's
God
reaction
damn it.
to some of these leaks.
Lucky
Bethesda's
asshole.
not happy about Starfield leaks from review copies. We saw one of the PR managers saying, "Everyone knows I don't like leaks. Media covering someone's leak like even less. When the big outlets do it to get around embargoes they have on their own code, oh, I really don't like that. Should say even small, meaningless, and incorrect ones." And then we actually did see one of the big leakers of Starfield get arrested. It feels like every couple of years we have a highly anticipated game, and it's always somebody who works in one of these warehouses stealing a bunch of copies, making it known online that they
Think I gotta
have
use the
copies,
rockets
selling
when
it,
he's
and then
stunned.
getting themselves arrested because, yes, it becomes very obvious and very easy to track these people
Oh
down.
my
But
God.
yeah, this
Jesus
individual, I think
Christ.
they're probably having some deep regrets with leaking those Starfield copies and some of the early gameplay. We did see some other Bethesda developers talking about some of the leaks. We had Emil Pagliarulo. I apologize, I probably said that wrong. He's the studio design director at Bethesda, saying, "What a great day for kayaking on the lake, doing some turtle spotting. Figured I'd check the Starfield. Oh boy, an insider peek at something that is a complete and utter fabrication. The hilariously incorrect analysis.
Damage
of
is
a
okay.
single
He has a
leak
lot of
screenshot."
health, though.
Shaking my head. Just a reminder to everyone that leaks are leaks no matter what the slant. Embargoes are in place for a reason, and any conjecture based on so little information is just utter guesswork. On the plus
Come
side,
on,
fans are
don't be
amped,
scared.
and the game is almost here for everyone. Now, what is he referring to? It's actually this tweet coming from a former Blizzard developer who worked on World
Back
of
up, bitch.
Warcraft years ago. The physiognomy of start screens. The start screen of a game can reveal a lot about how the rushed the team was and how much pride they took in their work. Starfield's start screen either shows hasty shipping deadlines by a passionate team overworked or a team that didn't care. It's a start screen. You click start, you move on. I've never given a crap about how a start screen looks. Some of them are more artistic than others. Bethesda Skyrim literally just has the logo like this. It seems like ridiculous that we're nitpicking this specific detail. But he did continue doubling down on these takes. Start screens are often done at the very end of development. Teams are too busy making the core game. It's quite common for the start screen to completely change once the game is shipping or on patch 0. And we did see Bethesda's head of marketing, Pete Hines, slap back about this. Somebody mocked the above tweet, and then Pete Hines responded saying, "Or they designed what they wanted, and that's been our menu for years, and was one of the first things we settled on. Having an opinion is one thing. Questioning out a developer's care because you would have done it differently is highly unprofessional coming from another developer." Yeah, just absolutely brutal there from Pete Hines.
Oh,
and
I'm
again,
missing your
we
bubbles.
did see Grums. He doubled down on this with many more tweets about this. Some of them deleted. The people screaming that you shouldn't care about start screens seem to care an awful lot about start screens. This may have single-handedly changed the future of start screens and bring back the art form.
Dummy.
Every developer team will be thinking about them now. You're welcome. And, I don't think this has really changed the minds of many, to be fair. And he did have this clap back to Pete Hines
Got him
saying,
with
"Oh
that.
no, not the head of Bethesda PR. However, will I recover?" What did he say about Fallout 76 and Redfall? And then we did have one other tweet: "Never judge a book by its cover is a huge myth. Authors know this."
Holy
People buy
shit, he
on
got
covers
me
all
with
the
that.
time. And yeah, somebody pointing out his past history in which one of his games, Firefall, had, yeah, exactly that. A very plain start screen. Some of the best games of all time have very simplistic designs. And who cares about start screens? That's really the best way to describe this whole situation, because some of them have more details, some of them don't. Some really awful games have great start screens. It's just never something that I've really looked at. But yeah, here you got Halo, Chrono Trigger, Portal 2.
Oh.
Somebody else shared a couple more. Halo 3, Fallout New Vegas, Red Dead 2, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring also. Very simplistic in their design. We even saw Ubisoft asking the question, "What's your favorite start screen?" Somebody sharing Starfield. I will say this, Grums did start a conversation about Starfield.
Oh my
don't think
god,
it
I
changed
wasn't
his
even
mind,
looking.
though.
Fuck.
And, again, people sharing more. Fallout 3 had it, Skyrim, Fallout 4, and now Starfield. They look very similar. They're very simplistic.
I want to try
And then even Naughty
the.
Dog with
I
The
want to
Last
switch
of
back
Us.
to the
So,
front missiles.
honestly, all
Or
the
maybe I might
conversation
try
that's happening
the-
with Starfield right now, it just seems very ridiculous in many regards. But
The,
in the coming days, I
which
think
one
it's just
was
about
it?
2 until early access is officially out. The conversation surrounding this game will finally come to a close. People
That-
can play it, and who knows? Maybe we'll be having
do
more
like the
outrageous
continuous barrage.
conversations
Where's the
in
other one?
regards to the contents of Starfield. But
This
right now,
one.
it feels like a lot of nitpicking at certain aspects of the game from people that haven't played Starfield yet. And I have played it myself. I cannot talk about my experience yet, but in about 2 days I will have my review up. It is going to be spoiler free, and yes, I have a lot of opinions about Starfield that I can't wait to share. But I just have to say that all of the controversy that we're seeing surrounding this game, a bit
All right,
ridiculous.
let's switch back
and
to
a
the
bit
old missiles.
over the top, in my opinion. Anyway,
Oh,
what
shit.
do you make of all of the discussion
Fuck.
and outrage
Fucking
surrounding
asshole.
Starfield
Fuck
right
you.
now? Are you planning to get the game? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video, or if you found any informative value, and consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.
Oh shit, no energy.
2024
Fuck.
presidential contender and undiagnosed sociopath Vivek Ramaswamy recently performed "Lose Yourself" by Eminem at the Iowa State Fair, and he described it at But in an interview with Chuck Todd on Meet the Press, so he was talking about this, right? And over the weekend, he went on basically a media tour, and it seemed like he was trying to speed run.
Yeah, I like
Democrat
these much
conference.
better.
But there's one clip in particular that I want to show you, and there's others here, but this one, he talks about how Mike Pence didn't handle January 6th correctly. So do you remember how Trump was telling Mike Pence to not certify the election because he wanted him to steal it for him?
Yeah,
Well,
I like these
essentially,
much better.
Ramaswamy is saying, well,
Really
if I
funny
were in Mike
is-
Pence's position, I would have done what Trump asked me to, which
Dumbass.
is not something that he can do. But I'm gonna let you hear how he says he would have done Trump's bidding here. This is so fucking mind-boggling to me.
Most of the candidates
Oh,
on
shit,
stage
he got
Wednesday
me.
night said Mike Pence did the right
Come on,
thing
one more.
on January 6th. Do you agree?
I would have done it very differently. I think that there was a
Gotcha.
historic opportunity that he missed to reunite this country in that window. What I would have said is this is a moment for a true national consensus.
So
where
am I gonna
there's
stun him
two
again?
elements of what's required for a functioning democracy in America. One is secure elections, and the second is a peaceful transfer of power.
Yeah, I
When
like
those
these
things
missiles
come into
so much
conflict,
better.
that's an opportunity for
Oh
everyone.
my god,
Here's
they're
what I would have
so
said.
good.
We need single-day voting on election
That
day.
continuous
We need paper
barrage is
ballots,
perfect
and
with
we
the
need
Gatling
government-issued
guns.
ID matching the voter file. And if we achieve
God.
that, then we have achieved victory.
I'll probably suck at
And we should
PvP,
not
but
have
as
any
for the
further
story, it's
debate about
really
election
good for
day.
these guys.
So I
What
would
would
have
you have
driven
done?
it through the Senate.
Still
what would you
kinda
have done
hard,
as Mike
but
Pence? You would have
So in
not
my
I
certified
like
the
it that
election.
way.
So in my capacity as president of the Senate, I would have led through that level of reform. Then on that condition, certified the election results, served it up to the president, President Trump, then to sign that into law.
My
and on
next
January 7th,
president
declared
rapper.
the re-election campaign pursuant to a free and fair election.
So in other words, he would refuse to certify the election, pass electoral reform within a day, and then redo the entire
Oh, no,
election
wait.
in order to appease Donald Trump.
Vivek. He said to check out his rap performance.
Es el evento Tiempo de Manejar Chevy de Labor Day en tus concesionarios Chevy del...
Oh god, the copyright. I gotta get a couple seconds in. Come on, when are you gonna start rapping, bro? Come on. Start rapping for the old people. They love Eminem.
Loud. Joking how everybody's joking now. Overplow, snap back to reality. But he choke, he's so mad, but he won't. Back to this mobile home, that's when it's back.
Damn it. Wait, what was that? Better go catch it. Take a picture. Oh my god, he flubbed that shit so hard. God damn. Yeah, Vivek! Oh my god. Can we see a video of his old rapping? I want to see that.
And I say this because it's impressive in the sense of how bad it is. Like, you have to try.
Hold on, I actually want to watch it without the DMCA. Hold on. I gotta turn the... Oh boy. What a fucking pussy. He started, he quit the song after like 30 seconds. What a
to
bitch.
be this bad, because throughout the
was a great
entirety of this
performance.
30-second clip, he is completely out of sync with the music to the point where he speeds up, but then he goes a little bit too fast, so then he has to slow down. So he's going at different tempos throughout the song. And
No, you
he's
don't know
doing
what you're
all of that
talking
while
about.
He can't really control his breathing, and he sounds like shit. And it is genuinely one of the most cringiest things I've ever seen. And when you also take into account the fact that he fashioned himself as a
Hold on, there's... Oh, no, wait, there's more. There's more.
You rise in the polls.
College. Often open. Fox.
No rap video. Not interested. Where's the link to his original rap? God damn it, fucking ads. No link. He rapped on Fox and Friends, first GOP debate. Maybe I misunderstood. I don't know where the link for the original video is, it's just that. Vivek performs Lose Yourself, Eminem sends them musicians. Vivek used to be a rapper. Here it is. Play. God damn it, cookies, get out of here. What is it? Vivek Ramaswamy.
If you had one shot, one opportunity, you better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better go.
Oh, Vivek. God damn. He's giving his all out there. Fucking almost dying trying to rap the lyrics out.
One shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music. The moment you own it, you better tell a lady go. You only get one
Tell a
shot.
lady go.
Chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
That was wonderful.
Libertarian rapper, it is almost too much for me to handle. And the extent to which he lacks rhythm is astounding to me. It's shocking. So I would highly encourage you to check it out, but be warned, it's hard to watch, but it's like a train wreck. You're not gonna want to look away. But back to Eminem cease and desist, which I find hilarious, but not surprising, because as Tori Auden of the New Republic puts it, it shouldn't be surprising that Eminem opposes Ramaswamy using his music. The rapper has long made his political stances clear. He released the protest song against George W. Bush in 2004 that criticized the then president for invading Iraq and Afghanistan in the wake of 9/11. In 2017, Eminem wrote a song in support of the Black Lives Matter movement and released a freestyle rap railing against Donald Trump's morals, policies, and racist behavior. Exactly. So it's a little bit weird that Vivek would think that Eminem would approve of his use of his music in the first place, considering that Eminem has made it very clear that he hates Donald Trump, and Vivek, on the other hand, is one of, if not the biggest Donald Trump bootlickers in the country, which is bizarre considering that he's literally competing against Trump in a GOP primary. But I mean, that makes a lot more sense when you consider that Vivek isn't running to win. He's running for second place and is desperately hoping that Trump picks him to be his running mate. But I want to show you what I mean by that, right? Because I'm not just insulting him and calling him a Trump bootlicker because I'm trying to be mean, even though I think it's fine to be mean to people like Vivek Ramaswamy, who are just genuinely terrible people. But in an interview with Chuck Todd on Meet the Press, so he was talking about this, right? And over the weekend, he went on basically a media tour, and it seemed like he was trying to speed run dumb fuck comments. But there's one clip in particular that I want to show you, and there's others here, but this one, he talks about how Mike Pence didn't handle January 6th correctly.
Nuts.
So do you remember how Trump was telling Mike Pence to not certify the election because he wanted him to steal it for him? Well, essentially Ramaswamy is saying, well, you know, if I were in Mike Pence's position, I would have done what Trump asked me to, which is not something that he can do. But I'm gonna let you.
Do I even have to fight these dipshits? Can I just go down here?
Would have done Trump's bidding here. This is so fucking mind-boggling to me.
Most of the candidates on stage Wednesday night said Mike Pence did the right thing on January 6th. Do you agree?
I would have done it very differently. I think that there was a historic opportunity that he missed to reunite this country in that window. What I would have said is this is a moment for a true national consensus where there's two elements of what's required for a functioning democracy in America. One is secure elections, and the second is a peaceful transfer of power. When those things come into conflict, that's an opportunity for heroism. Here's what I would have said. We need single-day voting on election day. We need paper ballots, and we need government-issued ID matching the voter file. And if we achieve that, then we have achieved victory. And we should not have any further complaint about election integrity.
So what would
I would
you have
driven
done
it through the Senate.
So what would you have done with Mike Pence? You would have not certified the election?
So in my capacity as president of the Senate, I would have led through that level of reform. Then on that condition, certified the election results, served it up to the president.
Yeah.
President Trump then signed that into law, and on January 7th, declared the re-election campaign pursuant to a free and fair election.
So in other words, he would refuse to certify the election, pass electoral reform within a day, and then redo the entire election in order to appease Donald Trump. Oh, okay, well, isn't that convenient? You don't like the election, so you change the conditions and then you ask for a redo. That's not authoritarian at all. But I mean, first of all, you would not do this because you wouldn't be able to pass reform within one day. That's not possible. Do you see how DC functions? They can't get shit done. So they're not going to do that, and Democrats certainly wouldn't go along with that. Second of all, again, he is specifically pretending that he would be better than Mike Pence because he wants to be Trump's new number 2. That's what this is about. But what makes his comments especially interesting here is the fact that he was saying something very different about the 2020 election not that long ago, and thankfully Chuck Todd called him out on this.
In your book, which wasn't written that long ago, you wrote the fact that all of our governmental institutions so unanimously found no evidence of significant fraud is telling. Furthermore, I've talked to many Republicans at all levels of government, and not one has ever presented convincing evidence that the 2020 election was stolen from President Trump. Very few have seriously tried. I don't believe that most Republican politicians actually think the election was stolen. So you went from there,
so let me address
and
this.
11 months later, your views have changed on January 6th. Again, this book was written September of 2022.
Chuck, I'm happy to address that if you're interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in reading exactly that chapter in the book, I drew a sharp distinction between what I did see as the interference in the election that mattered, which was interference by big tech. I'm data-driven. There's hard data showing that many voters, many independent voters, would have changed their result enough to influence the outcome of the election if they had been exposed to what we now know to be the truth about the Hunter Biden laptop story. By contrast, I've also been clear. I have not yet seen evidence that there was ballot fraud of a scale that would have changed that result. I'm just responding to data on both fronts.
Okay, so that makes total sense to me. The election was stolen, but in the sense that voters would have all changed their minds and voted for Trump instead of Biden if they saw pictures of Hunter Biden's 9-inch cock.
Yep.
That laptop was make or break. It wasn't Trump's handling of COVID or 4 years of buffoonery.
That was a loud
it
yeah.
was
God
the
damn.
laptop. Everyone would have changed their minds. That's the profound impact that laptop would have had. Made total sense. I mean, this is
Hunter
idiotic
Biden's dick is
thinking. And there's no way he believes this.
very
Right? It's
enticing.
stupid, but I don't think that he's stupid enough to actually believe this. But this man is a liar, right? It reminds me
I've never
of how
actually
he said
seen
that
his
climate
dick.
change was real just a couple of years ago in a CBS interview, but then at the debate he said the climate change agenda is a hoax. I mean, he claims to be an outsider, but he's more slippery than any politician you see in DC. They're at least more skilled when they use doublespeak and weasel words, but with him, like, he oozes smarmy and slimy behavior that just makes people hate politics. Now, during that same interview, he said that he could
Is he
appeal
that
to
dick?
young people because he's young himself. That's his
presidential
argument.
dick.
Meanwhile, he proposed raising the voting age to 25. So, I don't think young voters are going to be lining up to vote for you when you're saying that you want to disenfranchise them. But I actually want to move on to a different interview that he did, because when he was asked about a neo-Nazi shooting in Jacksonville, Florida, just listen to how Weasley he was in the way that he talked about this. It was very disingenuous.
This should not be happening in the United States of America, and it is wrong. The reality is we have a mental health epidemic in this country. There are reports that this particular individual, the perpetrator, was indeed evaluated for mental health deficiencies as well. And I think we need to have the courage in this country to bring back a practice of putting back psychiatrically ill people who pose a risk to their communities into psychiatric institutions, not just drugging them up, but faith-based approaches and other approaches.
Mental health is one aspect of these shootings, and apparently, and we're still learning a lot about what happened. The facts are still coming out. Also, this was very much apparently racially motivated. The sheriff there said point blank that this shooter had manifestos coming, 3 manifestos, and said specifically that he went to this dollar store with the intent of killing black people.
Damn it.
I think that is heinous and deserves to be called out for what it is. The reality is we've created such a racialized culture in this country in the last several years that right as the last few burning embers of racism were burning out, we have a culture in this country largely created by media and establishment and universities and politicians that throw kerosene on that racism. And I can think of no better way to fuel racism in this country than to take something away from other people on the basis of their skin color. I've been saying that for years. And I think that is driving, sadly, a new wave of anti-black and anti-Hispanic racism in this country. I think the right way forward is if we want to stop hate and discrimination on the basis of race, let's stop discriminating on the basis of race and see what unites us as Americans, because I do not think this kind of racial division and any division is good for us as the United States.
In other words, the real racists are the people who are trying to stop racism. And racism was actually almost gone until historically marginalized groups demanded equality. Had they not gotten too loud, then I guess that, the racists wouldn't have come back out in full force. That is insane. But that's his response to a neo-Nazi shooter who targeted black people. This is a presidential candidate, just to remind you. Now, he just can't address that element of this story specifically, so he tries to skirt around it and tap dance around that, and he'll bring up mental health.
Get his ass
But
out
the
of here.
reason why he didn't address white supremacy head on is because his whole shtick has been to pretend that racism doesn't exist. Like, this is literally what he just said.
I've never once encountered that yet. I'm sure the boogeyman white supremacist exists somewhere in America. I've just never met him. Never seen one.
Let me go around,
Never
check
met
if all
one
these
in my
assholes
life.
are dead.
Right? Maybe I'll meet a unicorn sooner.
Got
And
more?
those exist too.
What the fuck? Let me kill that loser.
So
the
just
fuck
because
is that
somebody
guy?
hasn't encountered one doesn't mean that the notion of white supremacy doesn't exist as a threat in America. What do you think goes through the minds of the families of the 3 victims in yesterday's shooting when they hear you say that white supremacy is basically a fantasy?
Asshole, get the fuck out of here.
I'm sure they're grieving for their loss, and I don't want to politicize
Michigan,
those victims
who's
down.
that?
This is a very sensitive situation where we should have nothing but foremost respect for those victims and not bring them into partisan politics. But I was responding to a question where someone asked me, what racism have I experienced in recent years? And I answered honestly. Most of that racism has come from the modern left.
Come on,
it's happening during the course of this campaign.
You're gonna get this.
Kara Swisher calling me Rama Smarmy the other day and reveling in making twists of my last name. People effectively reducing me to the color of my skin and my attributes. That comes today from the modern left.
So the only bigotry that he's experienced comes from the left, according to him. Now, I find that unbelievable because maybe he hasn't seen it, but conservatives have been extremely bigoted when it comes to his religion. He is a Hindu American, and religious liberty is something that conservatives claim to care a lot about. So my question to Vivek is, maybe you haven't seen it, but it's still happening. Got anything to say about Ron DeSantis' super PAC using your religion in opposition research? Or how about right-wing preacher Abby Johnson warning Christians to not vote for you specifically because of your Hindu faith?
There's a man who is gaining traction right now as the presidential nominee, and his name is Vivek Ramaswamy, and he is Hindu, and those who are Hindu believe in many gods, and he speaks well.
Oh shit, I'm out of ammo!
And he is very charismatic, and he says the right things. He says so many right things. Sometimes I'm like, maybe he is the right guy, but he's not, because our God will not.
Come on,
be
I got no
mocked.
more ammo. Shit! Shit! Heal!
Do not be a victim of Satan's confusion right now.
So there's that. Meanwhile, he's pretending that all the discrimination that he's
Gotcha.
experienced
Dumbass.
comes from the left.
This guy
It's an old
too?
Rubicon tactic, right? Where
I don't have any
it's saying that
ammo.
the
What
right
the
is
fuck
actually
is
more
this,
tolerant.
man?
Meanwhile,
How do they want me to
they're
kill all these
screaming in your
guys?
face bigotry.
What
I
the
mean, Dave
fuck is
Rubin
going
was accused
on?
of being a kidnapper when he announced that he and his
What
husband
the
were
fuck?
having
You
kids,
can't be fucking
but yet
serious.
He still claims that the right is more tolerant. This is what the GOP does. It's the oldest trick in the
Alright,
book,
I'll kick
right?
you, kick
They
the
use
shit out of you.
marginalized people to attack other marginalized people because that's how you legitimize the GOP's hate. Now, if you watch both of these interviews with Vivek,
God, I'm gonna fucking die too, man.
because the more he
Might as well
speaks,
just
the more
restart
unhinged he
checkpoint.
reveals himself to be. And it's impressive that he can say so many stupid things all while sounding super smart, right? But because he says it in a smart way, well, people take him seriously. It's kind of the Ben Shapiro effect, right? He just said on Breaking Points that he wouldn't rule out sending the U.S. military to Mexico to take on cartels. Like,
Gotcha.
we're in
Holy
a situation
shit.
where GOP candidates who are doing well are openly saying, yeah, I'm willing to invade Mexico. It's so insane that this is the state of the modern Republican Party, which is one of 2 electorally viable parties in this country. How sad is that?
Is there more?
Yeah,
There
but
can't
back
be
to Eminem,
fucking more.
Because I think that this cease and desist is
All of them
you know,
have shields.
it's not
This is
necessarily the most
insane. What the
substantive political
fuck?
news story, but
Defeat
when you have
G1
an
Michigan
opportunistic, slimy politician
and
who's
Balam's
saying
main
deeply
MT
stupid
force.
and dangerous things, I think it's okay for us to find joy in the Schadenfreude when his idol gives him the finger. I think that's great. And I think that we don't have to be ashamed
have
to
to
laugh
kick them
at
one
stories
by
like
one.
this because it's well deserved. Fuck this guy.
Vagina.
Rather than calling the shooters racist, what he's done here is said,
But,
"Here's a
bro,
racist
what
guy,"
was that?
which he would blame Democrats for. That's the whole point. Oh, well, why is this happening? Well, it's because Democrats are fostering all of this racial
Gotcha.
antagonism. Well, we've talked about some good things, like seismic shifts to U.S. labor policy. Now we can talk about some bad things. Things that are far more American than labor rights. Mass shootings. Racist mass shootings. In a lot of ways, every mass shooting is the same and the narrative is the same.
Let's get
after
these
every
dickheads.
one. It's sort of like a recurring pattern. It's a template, you know, it just tessellates out. American history is just a tapestry of near identical racist mass shootings. In Jacksonville, the shooter came in, killed some black people, did so because he hated black people, and if I recall correctly, had swastikas painted all over
Holy
his
shit,
stuff.
that's
Now,
it?
Let's not waste too much time with the political analysis side of things.
Thank
I
God,
consider
look
this to be a pretty
nothing.
inclusive determiner of this person's ideology. So here we have
Jesus Christ.
swastikas, and here we have some other
Damn.
bullshit I don't care about. You know,
Probably
I think
not
that
even gonna get the whole
so
400,000 for that mission.
it was an AR-15 gun. I don't really know. Everyone's going to use
Oh,
these
500?
AR-15s, which is again a dumb misdirection. The real problem here is
Oh, we saw this
terrorism,
yesterday, that's right.
racism, the idea that you couldn't kill 3 people with a handgun.
Fundamentally wrong with them, and they are a bad person. And I will tell you this now. If you're experiencing loneliness, you're not a bad person. Simply because you are lonely, simply because you don't have friends, does not mean that you're worthy of death. It does not mean that you're unworthy of life. It does not mean that there's something wrong with you. A lot of these people genuinely just hate men and genuinely are just, well, for one, this person is specifically, and their followers are specifically transphobic. GC, this person is a TERF. This person's this person's a transphobe, okay? On top of that, they tried to use like the T slur against me by posting the train emoji and then posting a knee, and then you can figure out what they were trying to say when it comes to that. Don't fall into the trap of saying gender critical. Don't get used to saying gender critical. They're TERFs and they're transphobes. That's what they are. They're not very smart, okay? So they can't think of like nuance or anything being different than I want to just murder women for being lonely or something, which isn't true. I think women are perfectly fine. But this is something that we actually need to talk about. And this is a big reason for why a lot of guys don't talk about this or anything. A lot of women, when they're in like relationships, they talk about one of the biggest things that is an issue is that their boys find it hard to open up emotionally. That's a really big thing. If I have any women listening and you've experienced this with like a man partner or male partner before, a masculine partner before, who has difficulty opening up about like how he feels, a lot of women talk about how that's like a big issue and it can be a big sticking point, because instead of talking about the way that you feel, you just kind of hold it in and bottle it up. And because that is the appropriate way that we've taught men to deal with their emotions. That on top of the fact is, not only have we taught men that's the only real appropriate way to deal with their emotions, and as you can see, a lot of these women, and you can see that it's almost all women too, right? You see that it's almost all women who are doing this. And once again, I don't want to say like this, like women will do this or women will hate you, but there is some truth to that misogynist talking points, which is that women don't want a guy who can be emotional or anything, and women hate men who are connected to their emotions in any way, shape, or form. And not only do they not like it, but they'll actively make fun of you for it. They'll actually hate you for it. They'll abuse you for it. The second that you cry or something, or you say that you need to talk to them about like the way that you feel, they'll dump you for like the Giga Chad. There is some truth to that. 100%. There is some actual real truth to that. The reason being is because a lot of women do enjoy their role in patriarchy. If I'm going to be honest with you, we talk about how a lot of women are at the forefront in, when it comes to taking down patriarchy. It is true, but the idea that women just 100%, all women 100% are perfectly happy like tearing the system down. No, absolutely not. And whether they know it or not, whether they like it or not, a lot of them are perfectly fine with their station because they do still get some benefits from it. And for a lot of these women, a lot of it is just watching. For a lot of them, it is just watching suffering. A lot of these people genuinely like when they see other human beings suffering for their own gain. These are mentally ill, insane creatures who need to be stopped. They're really disgusting, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Now, and I'm thankful that I'm in a better place since the ideas that I was like putting down in that original tweet, since I experienced those, so I could handle that. But a lot of guys.
Oh, what the? A double fight? What the fuck is this?
A lot of guys are taking when they see this type of stuff happening. Where did I call out women? Did I say that women are wrong and women are bad and women need to be stopped or something, or women are creating patriarchy? No, absolutely not. Women didn't make patriarchy, but there are women who uphold it 100%. There 100% are women who uphold it. This is inarguable. This is a fact of the world. The same reason why people love to identify with parts of their being that give them the most amount of social clout and hierarchy, right? When it comes to women specifically, women are pretty low on the totem pole when it comes to hierarchy, when it comes to men and women in like today's society, in patriarchy and everything, right? And so you would expect a lot of women not to associate super hard with that.
Damn.
And still not associate super hard with their role in patriarchy. But the problem is, depending on where they're from and depending on who they are, a lot of those women will actually identify super strong with that because it does give them power. They do gain something from that position. We're going to be honest. Why in the world would like a woman vote for like Republicans or something, or be against things like abortion, or why were women against the 19th Amendment? Right? A lot of women absolutely 100% uphold that. And now we can go a step back and say, oh, it can be internalized misogyny, it can be a lot of things, it can just, but which is true. A lot of those things can be true. But whatever it is,
got her.
We'll talk about that at the moment. Whatever it is, they're still doing the same action, which is upholding the system. They're fine upholding a system holding them down if they have a place of some power. As long as they can stomp on somebody else, all right? As long as they can dunk on the Moids, right? As long as they can dunk on the Moids.
Cook that little old piggy.
I made another tweet in here. It's like it's especially goofy coming from black women cheering on an ideology that gets them killed in their homes every day. But domestic violence is based as long as they get to dunk on the Moids, Lamau. Which I still 100% stand by. Which is, it's bad coming from white women it's even worse coming from black women, because black women are the people constantly who are always the ones that take the brunt of the damage with things like toxic masculinity, with things like patriarchy, things along these lines. These are the people who suffer the most. Black women specifically are the ones that suffer the most. And so I do think it is extra goofy coming from black women supporting the system. Does that mean that they deserve to get beat? No. But somebody likes to say that. Moids. Yeah, these are fem cells, okay? So these are fem cells, these are female incels. Some like incels or whatever say femoids. It's a way to dehumanize women by going even further than essentializing them as females, but go even further and say things like they're barely human, they're like another species or something, and so they say and so they want to say moids instead of on the opposite side of the term of femoids. Didn't Shu coin the term moids? I don't believe so. I think she just kind of found it. I don't believe that she coined the term, if I'm going to be honest with you. But on top of that, I mean, a lot of these people are just kind of insane, okay? Here's a person I was beefing with a little bit under this tweet. Yes, this perpetuating toxic masculinity is totally a feminist thing, slay queen. I think this person's one of my followers or something along those lines. But, and then this person unironically responded with, and this is somebody who's purported to be a giga feminist. Toxic masculinity does not exist. It's all the same thing. This person doesn't believe that toxic masculinity is real. So this is the type of people who I was beefing with. These are the type of people who I was speaking to. Okay? People who genuinely don't believe that toxic masculinity is real. Oh, also Tequila Sunset had a great response. Instead of everything you said in these threads, you could have just gone, I'm a dumbass, and then put the phone down and gone for a walk. It would have saved us all some time. Which is true. Tequila Sunset with another W. Tequila Sunset with another huge
Oh boy, this is bad.
They tried to say that
Missed
I
all my
was blaming
missiles.
women. That person also, if I remember correctly, that person also doesn't believe that men should talk to women about their feelings at any point in time in their lives. If I remember. Yeah, here we go. This person has blocked me since, which is fine. I don't really care. But, you know, we were talking about, no, men have already been murdering them. This is bad. Them not being able to be vulnerable and seek help hurts women. And that's bad, once again. And then I said, okay, wait, pull back. I agree with the general sentiment, but if I go to my woman friend or wife and I go, hey, can I talk to you once you're feeling, can I talk to you when you're free? I've been feeling really down. Am I doing something wrong? She did not agree with this. She did not agree with this. Oh, she went private? Hilarious. Yeah, instead of saying, oh yeah, that's actually fine, she said, no, she said no. You don't have a girlfriend, nor do you have friends. I'm like, okay, buddy. And I was like, oh my gosh, they actually believe it, because she barely responded, right? And in this tweet, she was like, is this person? In this tweet, she was like, men use women for like social baggage, and like they feel entitled to women. Which, like I said, the general sentiment, I 100% agree with. The general sentiment, yeah, they have that, like they do. It is taught that like men. Like women give up their lives or whatever to be like caretakers or whatever or something. This happens. You can see it with like girls who are expected to like take care of like younger family members or whatever, even when they're really little, because like women have like some innate but it's a part of
the
patriarchy
fuck
that women have like this innate
shit's popping off out here.
Supportive role in lives where they dispose of their own lives.
It's getting tickled from the back all around.
People.
Jesus.
That's
calm
true.
down,
That does
fellas.
happen. But
can't play right now.
This person
I'm busy.
took it a step further and said specifically men like speaking about their problems with like women friends and wives and girlfriends is like evil and wrong. Oh yeah, this was good. This is a collection of lib-fem lies and patriarchal justifications for femicide. No man has murdered a wife because he was bullied. They don't get it. She actually doesn't get it. Have you considered that even if what you say is true, there's zero need to bully men expressing their feelings? And then another like based Vaco, and then they responded, what are you gonna do about it? Murder a woman? So yes, if you were wondering, if these people who were responding to me, if these people who were angry at me had any way in shape or form like a decent point, I hope this helps dispel some of that notion. These people simply just want other people to kill themselves. That's the only thing that they care about, is that when they see somebody who is suffering, especially if they're a man, they just want them to kill themselves.
How did she hit me with that?
That's literally it. There is nothing more there. There is no like feminist justification for what they're doing. Because once again, I didn't call anybody out. I didn't attack anybody. Everybody there were just simply getting really angry. They were simply getting really mad. They were mauling. They were saying like I said all these things and that I hate women or something. They were putting up all of these like ideas.
Round 2.
But about
Let's
me
go.
that none of them were true. But it shows you what they think about guys who are lonely. This is why a lot of men don't come out to talk about this. And this is a microcosm of what makes our society so bad, especially from the men's point of view. But this isn't, once again, it's not even men singular. Just men have a more difficult time when it comes to this. Women experience this too. I never got the chance to ask, and I'm not going to be engaging with this anymore because I think my followers on Twitter have had enough of this conversation and back and forth with absolutely insane people. But yeah, this is Read Theory. What feminist theory conceptualizes toxic masculinity? It was invented by MRAs. There is no essentialistic masculinity. There's masculinity and as a real social phenomenon that's built on the domination and exploitation.
Oh my
Yes,
God, I
this
wasn't
is
paying
actually
attention to my
batshit
health.
Crazy, insane. Okay, just so you know.
Damn, that second round, she goes nuts.
This is bullshit. Femicide justification lie. Oh yeah, I forgot. They also said I threatened to kill black women. I forgot about that. In all of this, they said I really threatened to murder black women by mentioning that black women are the ones who suffer more when it comes to this type of thing, right? But it's just wild, right? But I made like a final little thread on this. Which is like this last thing. A lot of people were asking during all of this. A lot of people were asking if this is like if I'm like okay. I was okay.
Fuck.
100% from my
How did I dodge that?
Just wanting to give my opinion on the matter, and I'm in a better place. I am 100% in a better place. I've had multiple girlfriends since like I.
Oh my God.
Feeling. I think most of my friends are women these days, and I couldn't be any happier. I think I'm in one of the best points in my life that I've ever been in outside of a relationship, if I'm going to be honest. And I'm not even looking for a relationship right now because I don't have time.
Damn it.
I ain't got time for a girl in my life. If I'm going to be completely honest, like seriously, I actually don't have time for a girl in my life. Honestly, I'm actually quite busy these days, right? But if we're going to be talking about this, right? And I want to go on to like solutions.
All right,
that
I'll
we
use
could
my
have.
last health pack.
Solutions
Fuck
that
it.
we could have, and the first thing that we need to do is acknowledge that these people exist. A lot of people don't even want to acknowledge that these people exist, and how their ideology reinforces not only patriarchy, gender stereotypes, and hierarchy, but also hurts women and is not doing much or anything, or even going backwards when it comes to our social cohesion and moving forward past this issue where alienation and atomization has taken over all of our friend groups and has completely decimated them to the point where you don't even think about going out anymore because you don't have any friends. We need to understand how we have these ideas and of people who are lonely. Even if you are somebody who is lonely, how you have opinions of other people who are lonely, because we've been beaten. What's been beaten into us is if we're lonely, then there's something is wrong with us. Something is fundamentally wrong with us for us to be like ostracized from society or something. To make us have no friends. Because normal people have friends. Normal people can get a friend.
Oh, she's doing the combos.
When it comes to the data,
Got her.
it's becoming more and more normal for you actually not to have a friend, not to have even a single close friend. That's what's becoming more normal, and that's a bad thing. We need to understand how our work culture and how capitalism and how our economy has stifled the ability for us to be human, and has taken us from being able to work and then have family lives to work-life balance being a dirty word, and even the term like quiet quitting. This even goes back to things like quiet quitting. Is something that's wrong, and that's something that's like a dirty word, right? That's something that's like that's making everybody scratch their heads and wonder what's going on. People are throwing their lives away. Just to
Oh
be
my
able to
God,
keep,
don't
like,
die.
a
Oh,
one-bedroom
she was
apartment,
so
a roof
close.
over their heads.
Ew,
while their
fucking
entire lives
bitch.
are being burned away, especially like under 35. Like that's when you're supposed to be the most active in your life. That's when you're supposed to be planting the most amount of seeds, and you're supposed to be like making the most amount of human interactions and things along those lines. When you're under 35,
okay,
this does nothing to help our society, and if this continues, this is only going to be worse. And once again, it's men are experiencing the brunt of it, but it's not even only men who are experiencing this, honestly. 1% of the population has.
Oh my god, how did she get me with that?
Right? And a lot of people are saying that this is the age of the incel. But honestly, by the way things are going, this may even be the age of
Alright,
the
one health pack down.
share of under 35s who
We
have not
should
had
be
sex
okay.
in the past year. Remember, this is where we left off back in 2018. It was going all the way up, and then boom, women shot back up. Almost 25% of women are not having sex. And you know what? This is also bad. And we should also 100% care about this. This is not okay. Like I said, are there they cells? There are they cells, yes. Some people also talk about how in these studies they leave out queer people, which is true. They do leave out queer people. They leave out people who don't identify as men or women, and they leave out people who do not have PP Vagooper sex. If you don't specifically have PP Vagooper sex, that doesn't count here. But also, I don't think that's going to change the graphs too much, if I'm going to be honest. Like, no matter what they tell you online, there actually aren't that many queer people in the world. There actually aren't that many, especially like outwardly acting like sex-having queer people in the world. There really aren't that many. I really don't think it's going to skew the data that much.
Oh.
I'm not sure Ace is skewing the data.
Oh my god,
I feel like
please.
if you were given this and you were going to, and you're like somebody who actually doesn't want sex, that you wouldn't even answer this question, if I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Oh god.
As well as there aren't that many Ace
people.
Ooh. Let's be honest with ourselves. Like,
I don't know what the fuck is going on there.
There are very few, and I highly doubt that this would change the graph that much. Maybe a little, but I highly doubt it would change the graph in any real meaningful way. If we're going to be honest with ourselves. But if these trends continue, this is going to make like having family and friends more difficult for everyone. And like I said, I'm really glad that I was the one I'm glad that I was the one who suffered through this, and I was the one who had to like, you know, who had to fight the fight. There were so many people actually. Not only, I'm not even, and when I say people, once again, I'm not talking about men. There's so many men and women and they people who came to me in DMs who didn't want to speak publicly because of the abuse and the literal bullying that they saw me experience. Thankfully, I didn't experience it really, because I fucking muted that shit. That they were just screaming into the void.
Decent.
Right? But they saw what was happening, and none of them wanted to come out to talk about what they have felt before. A lot of them, and I'm not going to be telling any stories from. If you think
hate that her health doesn't show up right away.
With me in private, I'm not going to be sharing it here. It's not my story to tell. I appreciate you for sharing with me. But there's so many people who came out to talk about how they were bullied, how they were always been lonely, especially neurodivergent people who have difficulty making friends in this connections and everything. See what's going on, and they don't want to talk out, but they're
damn it,
to see
fuck,
stand up and do something, right?
Oh my god.
It's sad that this is something that's considered.
She's going fucking nuts. Where were these attacks before?
Talking about. We need to talk more about this, because there are so many people genuinely suffering, and there are so many people who just want those people dead, who just want you dead. The sort of
oh my god,
vitriol that I got for
she cheating.
Anybody, not
she's throwing one in the. I can't dodge that fast.
I deserve to speak to any women or anything. Once again, I didn't ask for any of them to comment. I didn't want any of them to comment. I have no clue who they are. I don't care about their lives. They don't know anything about mine, and I don't want them to say anything. But every single time, all of them came up to me while I was talking to my group. You know that meme where it's like somebody standing outside and the tall person in like the group.
Oh, I got her. Thank fucking God.
That was like me and my followers.
Holy shit. I don't think I was using my missiles enough. I was just spamming them this round.
Why are you forcing me to listen? I'm just like, big thumb, and go back to my community.
Damn, what a fucking asshole.
And it's just like, what the hell is happening?
It's fucking cheating.
Yeah, stop having fun.
She threw a beam. She threw a beam right at me, and then another one in the direction that I'm dodging. What a fucking asshole. Flying kind of helps with that. Her aim is really good.
Yeah, it's genuinely wild how I can be talking to my community, literally vibing, and then they come up to say that I'm just forced. Them to listen? No, bitch. I don't want you to listen. Die. Bitch. In Roblox. I don't want you to listen. I never asked you to be here. I don't want you here. Nobody wants you here. Okay? Okay, dumb bitch. All right? It has to be said. It has to be said. Honestly, I should have hit some of them with a shut up bitch. Okay? I should have. I was shut up, bitch. I was trying to take care of my I was trying to take care of how I was viewed. I didn't want to play into it, right? But they did. Shut up, okay? They did. Let's be honest with ourselves, right? Yeah, low tier god. I should have low tier godded him. Time for the tactical B word. Honestly, truly, genuinely. Shut up, bitch can get you a suspension on Twitter. Trust me. Yeah, I had a feeling. It is funny though. It is funny though. But I want to talk about this little thing, okay? To like back up some of my points, because I feel like this is the missing, this study here is the missing link when it comes to men, and specifically like men in loneliness and everything, okay? So this is a little thing that I came across while I was searching up and thinking about these types of issues. I wanted to have another conversation about this on stream. I didn't really want it to be like this, but here we are. There is a newer sort of psychological understanding that psychologists and psychiatrists are coming to, and they've started to name it GRD, which is gender role discrepancy. Okay, and we're going to be talking about a very specific part of gender role discrepancy, which is masculine discrepancy stress, or MDS. It's masculine discrepancy stress.
Excuse me, fellas, just need to recharge.
Psychosocial maladjustment, implication for behavioral and mental health in adolescent boys. So these are boys who do be growing, okay? And so this is a very interesting study that I've read through several times, and it's always been incredibly interesting and incredibly illuminating for me. And I feel like this is the missing link of what we were talking about when it comes to these issues, and why men seem to be having more issues when it comes to these problems than women are, and why there seems to be more things like violence and things like suicide, and like
excuse me, just need to pass through.
Specifically when it comes to men, like why is this happening? Is it because men innately are evil and cringe and stinky? You know? Because when I came out to talk about this, I was called all sorts of things, all right? When I simply said that loneliness is an epidemic and it's something that we need to deal with as a society, I was called a misogynist. I was called evil. I was called hateful. I said they said that I wanted to kill.
What the fuck?
They said that I wanted. That I was like an incel who's never had sex before, but also abuses women or something. They said that I'm crazy, that I'm mentally ill or something. I am, but not in this specific way. You know, they called me the T-slur, but most importantly, they called me stinky. That was the word, and even they called me stinky. They said I was stinky, and that's why I didn't have friends or something. Which is untrue, because I do have friends. I don't have a girlfriend at the moment. I also don't want one.
This meme is very real.
But yeah, like I was assigned stinky at birth. T-slur? Yes, they even called me a slur. It was wild, right? They said we all know that the reason why anybody doesn't have a friend is because you just didn't take a shower, bro. Just like take a shower and then you'll obviously have friends. It's that easy. It's that simple. Big brain, right? But this is not true. I want to talk about this for a moment because it's incredibly interesting. Gender role discrepancy or nonconformity to socially prescribed gender roles has been linked to a multitude of adverse mental and behavioral health outcomes. Masculine discrepancy stress, or MDS, stress about being perceived as not to conform to one's gender role may explain the relationship between GRD and deleterious health outcomes. However, research at MDS has primarily been restricted to adult males. And so this is what this has talked about. Not only how it affects adult males, how it affects even like young boys growing up, and what happens with them and how they are perceived. Yeah, just shower, right? Pepe laugh when someone calls me a slur. Pepe rope when they call me stinky. Deleterious health outcomes equals no friends. No, opposite. No friends equals deleterious health outcomes, which is true as well. If you have little to no friends, you actually have a lower life expectancy. You have a higher probability of killing yourself. You have a higher probability of health outcomes because of the stress that you have off of being lonely. Loneliness can, once again, mental issues can bleed out into physical issues all of the time. Stress is one of the biggest things, right? You know somebody who's like had a lot of stress and you can see it in their face, right? Like they get like crow's feet and they get wrinkles and their hair gets white. There's no bigger way to see this than look at the before and after pictures of like Abraham Lincoln from before he was president and after during and after like the Civil War and everything, right? Before he died, right? You can take a look at that. Take a look at before after when it comes to Obama, right? Like stress does crazy things to you. And so it's obvious, it's clear that mental issues can bleed out into physical issues all of the time and can bleed out into how it can do like a lot of damage to yourself, right? Findings indicate that significant potentiating effects of MDS on maladjustment, while there was a direct protective effect on GRD. The data suggests that developing prevention strategies that incorporate social norms pertaining to gender socialization may help impact on multiple behavior and mental health problems. And so the really big thing that I want to pull from this was specifically this, okay? And this is wild, and it looks like that like weird Jordan Peterson Dragon of Doom or whatever list, but I promise you this is not as insane. It's an incredibly eye-opening for me specifically, right? I know this looks insane, I know this looks super complicated, but I promise you it'll all make sense here in a moment, okay? This conceptual model testing the effects of gender role discrepancy and masculine discrepancy stress on psychosocial maladjustment while controlling for trauma, childhood maltreatment, neighborhood disorganization, as well as the manifest variables age and ethnic minority status. So this is very good, right? They had great methodology here for this, right? And so just so you understand everything that's here, and especially all the acronyms, they put it here for you. GRD is gender role discrepancy. We know MDS as well. Trauma equals PTSD symptoms. ACE is adverse childhood experiences. So adverse childhood experiences are like abuse, bullying when you're really young, social ostracization while you're young, things along these lines that can lead to like childhood trauma. It's different than specifically trauma and PTSD, but it's just bad things that happen to you when you're a kid. Neighborhood disorganization is disorg. Maladjust is psychosocial maladjustment. Mood is mood disorder symptoms. Hope is hopelessness. SUD is substance abuse. Sex is sexual behavior, and specifically dangerous and risky sexual behavior, okay? So I hope you were listening, because all of this is going to be on the test. I hope you've been paying attention. So let's just take a look at this really quickly, okay? Gender role discrepancy. So when a guy is, let's say me, when I became really vulnerable and I started to talk about things that I've experienced, that was gender role discrepancy, okay? And a lot of guys, when they step out of their box like that and finally do the thing that a lot of people said that you should do, which is become vulnerable and talk to people about
Damn,
how
that's
you
a lot
feel,
of damage.
be open about how you feel, they get abused. They get told that they should kill themselves. They get told that they, this, that, and the third, a bunch of crazy shit. And it comes from the left and the right as well, right? It comes from everywhere and everyone, because everybody supports the system that we have here today, which is patriarchy, and we all know this, okay? But the gender role discrepancy that you feel leads to masculine discrepancy stress.
Damn
So
it.
this is the stress that you
They're
feel
all
when you're
around
not
shit.
perceived as masculine or masculine enough. This is what a lot of guys feel when they feel. This is like basically emasculation. When you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be, when you feel like you're not providing for your family, you're not like the guy that society tells you that you should be. It's that type of thing. You feel lost and you're and you don't know how to, you know, be a man, right? You know, you don't know how to be a man. This happens to women as well. There are lots of women who feel this, right? There are lots of women who talk about how they feel this, how they don't feel like they're, you know, a lot of
God
in
damn
the
it.
normal way how you talk, how you hear women
Fuck.
talking about like feminine discrepancy, feminine discrepancy stress is when women say that they don't feel like they're a woman, especially when it pertains to their relationship with their partner, or like, you know, their husband or something, or if especially, you know, it's happened sometimes when like your average like, you know, kind of queer-phobic woman is like,
I'm really fucking this
talking
one
to,
up.
is like in a relationship with like a queer person, and they can't fall like neatly into that like feminine gender role, and they don't feel, you know, pretty, and they don't feel like women, right? And that leads them to do other things, and that leads them to leave relationships, that leads them to act differently. That's women expressing this like gender role discrepancy, right? So we already know what it looks like in men. I hope you can now like kind of figure out what it looks like in women as well, because women feel this, and women experience this as well. A big book that I talk about when it comes to masculine discrepancy stress, that obviously doesn't talk about it, but was A Raisin in the Sun. If anybody's ever had to read A Raisin in the Sun, either for
Shut.
you know, school,
30
or
seconds.
did it for fun, you can understand what I'm talking about when it comes to the man in the story not being able to provide for his family, not being in like a masculine role, and the stress that he feels because of that and everything. That is this, and this is dangerous. Okay. And the dangerous thing about it is how it's in the center of everything else and can be easily caused by a lot of other things. Can you take a look at this really quick? Trauma leads to masculine discrepancy stress. Now you may be wondering, Shark, how does trauma lead to masculine discrepancy stress? Well, remember Terry Crews? Remember how Terry Crews came out about him being sexually abused? And what happened when he came out? He got clowned on. He got called a bitch. He got all of this like hate coming towards him. He got emasculated and everything. He got looked at differently. That's one thing that could happen. If you have to, there are lots of guys who are really adverse to going to the going to therapy. That's a big thing as well. It can make you feel like less of a man. That, as well as like asking for directions, can make you feel like that, right? Can make you feel like you're not doing your job right. Neighborhood disorganization. So when your neighborhood is fucked up, when things in your neighborhood are really fucked up, when you grow up in a really bad neighborhood, that can also lead you to have masculine discrepancy stress. Also, this could also play into things like not being able to provide for your family. Women complain all the time about men feeling bad about dating them if they make more money than them. Lots of women still say, and there have been studies on this, Pew Research did a study on this, lots of women still say that it is the man's job to be the breadwinner, to put bacon on the table, okay? Now, lots of women who still love that part of patriarchy, 100%, okay? Don't sit here and think I'm like pulling shit out of my ass here when I say that women love patriarchy. They do. All right, let's be honest with ourselves. Men couldn't do it simply all by themselves. Women do it too. All right. I'm sorry, like people like the Republican Party, things along those lines. It wouldn't hold up if women weren't there along with them. At least some amount, and it's a very large amount as well. Do this, right? Adverse childhood experiences. So you being assaulted when you're like a child can lead to masculine discrepancy stress. Lots of people do, actually. I mean, look at how many people go. I mean, remember what Jeremy from The Quartering said? He was like, well, when you're 16, you don't feel like a victim, do you?
Example scenario with
Oh,
a
yeah,
24-year-old chick fucking 16. If she knew that guy was 16, yeah, that's fucked. She's committed a crime.
But if you're 16 and you get that pussy, do you feel like a victim?
They're talking about they're talking about an adult raping a child, just so you know. And there's so many people out there who genuinely feel like that. You know the people, you know the people who are like, oh man, where was she when I was in school? When it's like woman goes to jail for raping child, Thanks for reminding me. My sister subscribes to that mindset. Women love it. Women love patriarchy, bro. It's their favorite meal. They eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then and the big thing is masculine discrepancy stress leads to general maladjustment. Just generally. If you see like there's something wrong with like just guys, there's a big likelihood that this is what led to it. It just leads to general maladjustment. You are just maladjusted to society. And once you're there, it's a lot to fix. You know why?
Oh, he still got
Because
me with that.
It leads to hopelessness, mood disorders, substance abuse.
Oh, he's charging too. He's got some
risky
melee on
sexual
him.
behavior, and violence. This, and you see this is the dark line. This leads directly to this. Trauma, gender role discrepancy. So an easy path that like a lot of guys take can be, you feel like you're not fulfilling your gender role, or you're bullied for your gender role, is something when you're little, that leads to you getting trauma. You being bullied, you being abused, you being beat, you being disowned by your family. There are so many people, there's so many young guys who get disowned by their like parents or something, who get abused by their parents if they're not man enough, right? That leads to masculine discrepancy stress, the stress that you feel. That leads to normal maladjustment, and that leads to everything that we see here. For a long time, we've been just worrying about this. We've been simply just worrying about this, which is the hopelessness, the mood disorders, the substance abuse, the risky sexual behavior, the violence. But this is only the tip of the iceberg for what's really happening. It's much in here when it comes. It's really in here when it comes to trauma, when it comes to masculine discrepancy stress, when it comes to gender role discrepancy, neighborhood disorganization, adverse child experiences. All of this leads to maladjustment, and all of this specifically is in line because of the masculinity that we put together as a society that is so incredibly fragile that even small things like wearing nail polish or not being super strong or even being born wrong, like not having a big dick or not being tall enough or being too small, you know, you're feminine or whatever, like being called a runt or something. All of this, and how we like easily emasculate these guys, and then that leads to all of this stress, because I don't need to explain it to people, a group of like queer people, okay? Because I know I have a lot of queer people here. Hello, queer. Gender is really important. Gender is wildly important. Queer people don't have a monopoly on gender, and queer people don't have a monopoly on suffering involved with gender. How in the world
Got
can
you, bro.
call yourself an actual ally but not understand the universality of suffering, of not being the gender that you want to be, and being rejected by society? I had a mom comment under one of my posts that I made about this, talking about how she's raising a young baby boy. And she said, and she was like, "Thank you so much for talking up about this. I would like to talk to my son about this when he's old enough and when he's ready. What would break
Think
my
I can't
heart
fly?
would be if I raised him and then let him out in the world, and then he was treated horribly, and society rejects him. Society just hates him. Honestly, whether she said it or not, and I don't know, I understand.
It's
why
not
she
gonna
said
stop
it, but
me.
It is factual. I'll say it. What would break her heart is if her son got treated like I did when I came out about my issues, or issues that I had, and like the undercurrent of things that still could happen, right? Just experiences with loneliness and everything. And that's something that a lot of women, even like growing up, have to when they're raising men, when they're raising boys to be men, have to deal with. This is something that's been talked about a lot. A feminist talked about the decision that a mom has to make when looking down at her young baby boy. How is she going to raise him? Because society doesn't respect men who are team players.
Who the fuck else is
who are
shooting
very,
at me?
Like social, right? For men who are like kind and soft and loving. No. The guys who make the most amount of money, the guys who get the most amount of clout, the guys who go the furthest.
Oh, that's all her bullets coming at me. She's got that special ammo.
Why do you think so many guys at the top rung are such like prolific chronic abusers, serial abusers? It's because we as a society love to
she got me with that.
behavior.
I still got more
men,
health.
and they go far. So how does she raise?
Dumbass.
How do you think that young mom should raise that baby boy? To be loving and caring and respectful and be a team player.
I'm gonna kill my friend.
But probably poor and not make it that far and constantly get made fun of, put down, degraded, bullied. Maybe not even make it that far in life, but he's a good person. Or does she raise him to be a bad person that goes far, that makes money, that gets the girls, that's in the position to do that abuse in the first place, that's a business leader, all of those things. What path does she take? And sometimes trying to split the line can lead to you doing more harm than good. It's a real question that you actually have to, that so many women around the world are thinking of, and so many men are experiencing. I can't tell them which path to take, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. There's some feminist writing on this. I don't remember the book off the top of my head, but it was an incredibly interesting book about it, and about like just feminism and women's roles and like raising men and everything, and how that works off. Because a lot of women have absolutely like raised a lot of men in this patriarchy and told them to uphold it. Absolutely. Now, obviously, women typically don't. Well, I can't say typically anymore because a lot of people are raised in single-parent households more than ever before these days. But this isn't like a woman's fault. This is society's fault. A lot of people like to talk about this like I'm saying women have done this and women have ruined society. No, people have. People have ruined society. We have ruined society, and now we have to fix it.
Damn.
A lot of people get really mad when they talk about this.
Still got a lot to buy.
That's a big reason for why we're going to be talking about this more in the future, but this is incredibly important. These situations are hard to talk about. I hope you have somebody to talk about it with you if you've experienced anything along these lines. Like I ended off my last post about this, that I wanted to end it with, but I kind of didn't. But it's just too fun to argue with these losers. I'm gonna say, I know exactly how you feel. I've been there. And in some way, shape, or form, I am there. It's something that I've had to deal with. It's something I'll probably always have to deal with. I'm generally a pretty likable person. It's hard for people to see on the outside people who are really suffering on the inside. I've spoken to people who you guys may think are outgoing, super popular, absolutely, gorgeous, everything. They have it all. They have what you want. But on the inside, and the experiences that they've had that you haven't seen, they're battle scarred from what they've experienced when they were younger.
I have unlimited energy? What the fuck is
today,
this?
Simply
Destroy the Arquebus Interceptor fleet.
I
got it!
Person with a very small friend group, and who doesn't talk to that many people. Well, who hasn't had like too many girlfriends? I've had some girlfriends. I've had some, I've had some.
Anybody else? What do we got?
Some partners. I've had, some situationships. I've had my fair share of situationships. I've had some. Fuck buddies turn too personal.
Damn, I didn't do this mission before.
Somebody gets hurt. I've seen it all. I've been there. Okay, but like I said,
Arquebus fleet.
I support you. I'm right there with you. I understand how
I'm coming.
And you're not there alone. And there is.
Holy shit! I actually go all the way out there.
I believe that you can make it. It's very hard, and a lot of people.
Oh, the coral's powering me. Holy shit! If only the coral could give me fucking unlimited ammo.
Who doesn't have friends? Not for their.
Let's go, baby. Damn, I'm far.
It could just be. It's hard for you to talk to people. You may not have
maintaining
been raised,
formation, maintaining erection.
Been really, raised to make a meaningful connection. It may be hard for you. You may have come from a bad household. Is it your fault that you came from a bad household? Really? I don't really think so. Take care of yourself. We'll be talking about this more in the future. But this is a massive problem, and we need to come together to fix it. And I know I've been talking like bashing women here a little bit, but at the end of the day, I remember scrolling through a post about this. It was a little bit of a, fuck men, haha, stinky, men stinky, sort of.
This guy dead?
I was just scrolling
I didn't kill him.
Just seeing what the girls have to say, and then somewhere like down in there, they, outside of
is that one?
Haha funny.
Oh, he's dying.
They were talking.
Main fleet whole line.
Like,
I go all the way out there.
Be free without
I'm coming.
Men talking about these issues themselves, without men having these conversations. And it's true. Women will never be free from patriarchy without men. And men will never be free from patriarchy. And men will never be liberated from patriarchy as well without women.
Can't catch me.
We need each other. None of us can do this alone. Which is 100%.
I'm out.
So
pussies.
People can hate and wish death on me or whatever. I want you to understand that, thankfully, they're not the majority. No matter what, my tweet got very popular, and there were lots of eyes on it. And there were lots of people who I showed you who absolutely hated my guts. What I didn't show you as much of, and I implore you to look through the comment section of people who just replied, not quote tweeted, just replied, and see all of the people who feel the same way and who wanted to come out and show their support and who may never talk about this issue again because of how
these are the big
some
boys.
people treated me.
Oh boy!
For simply just opening up to talk about things that I've experienced. I do it
Oh,
for you
what
guys
the?
because it's good for me to open up and talk about some things that I've experienced.
Oh
I
my
think it's good for
God.
the guys out there to see that guys can do it, and no matter what, can still stand there and take the heat because it is. for
I'm
the
coming.
best. And while you don't need to, I do it in a more open way where I have to have.
Oh my
people
God.
to see it.
This is
You can do it
nuts.
with a therapist. You can do it with a friend, a family member, someone online who you trust. Anything along those lines. I would say
Nice.
go into
Thanks.
it as soon as you can. Just reach out and ask if you can.
Yeah,
speak.
I'm here.
A lot of the times they will say
Let's
yes, and
go.
listen. A lot of people do absolutely care. I care about you. I'm in your corner. Take care of yourself.
Coming for that bitch. Damn. Oh, geez, gotta go all the way back. Holy shit. This fight is nuts. Oh god, I'm gonna need a restart checkpoint. I don't have any health packs. Who's this dipshit? Hey, who's that? Rusty. Oh, boy, with the combos! Oh my god, that was nuts. I respect it. It was cool. Oh! Oh, he got me. Yup, you're fucking lucky you caught me. I didn't even get to resupply. Can I restart checkpoint? Please? Yes, thank God. Thank you, FromSoft. Damn! Oh, I can just kick him unlimited. Damn it! I know. Gotcha! Come on, Big Daddy. Oh my god! With the combo. I'm about to stun you again. You don't want this. I told you. Oh, not the combo. Oh, that was a dirty fight. What the fuck is this? Ooh, what is this? What are you, running out of ammo? Shoot something. Ah! Can't keep up. Oh, yeah. Are you gonna pop up again? Dirty bitch. Ooh, got down, boy. Put my dick in that little piggy booty hole. Fuck that piggy. Marry that piggy. Divorce that piggy. Beat that piggy. Go to jail. Come back and kill that piggy. Ooh, excuse me. Got an alpha head and a core. Oh, I got his body. Nice. Sweet, dude. What did I get? Alba, not alpha. The higher this value, the less EN consumed by quick boost. Generator supply adjustment. Oh. Interesting. Holy shit, what's this one? Oh, I can't carry it. Need a bigger load. Need a fat load. I think I'm pretty good. Probably not the best build, but shut down the closure satellites. Here's my other achievement. I'll beat this, then I'll go eat lunch. Yes, air.
People live for the fight, and so they die by it too. And it seems like their marriage is going to be the thing that dies first. And the person I'm talking about is, you know him, you love him, Crowder, Steven Crowder.
Beat the ending, shut down the closure satellites.
He's been suffering under the boot of the evil YouTube ban system when he says things that are TOS, and then he gets banned because he violated TOS. And so now he's taken refuge in a he's taking refuge in the sanctuary to protect him now, so he can say all the slurs that he needs and wants to on Rumble. But while he was there, he thought it would be time to divulge something that he didn't want to, but apparently he's been sitting on for a while, which is the fact that Mr. Family Man has been going through a divorce this entire time. Let's listen to it.
I have been living with a proverbial boot on my neck for going on years now. Since 2021, I've been living through what has increasingly been a horrendous divorce. Now,
let's fucking do it. I'm sorry, Air. Oh, I get to fight her. Oh. Oh my god, not another flying one. These fucking angel mechs are so... Can I get an angel mech? Look at her, she's flying around. And she moves so fast, too. I'm gonna get that mech armor. You're gonna shut the fuck up and give it to me.
let me say on the outset, to be clear,
I'm gonna burn it. Taking the coral. Coral's mine.
Physical abuse at all on either side. And no, this was not
my choice. Let's go.
I did not beat. No, I did not beat my wife. Yes, she
Hey,
definitely
Air.
left me. He sounds so scared. Oh, yeah, I think he's just angry. But we'll get to why I think that in a moment. Let's just listen to him first.
My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore.
It'd be that way.
In the state of Texas, that is completely permitted.
I just think this is kind of strange. This is strange wording of it, isn't it? I saw some people pointing this out, and in my first watch through, I thought it was pretty interesting as well.
Oh.
Every single time that he talks about the divorce or like the marriage falling apart, every single time
what did I do that?
talking about how
I don't know what's
it's,
going on.
Able to happen or legal to happen, or it was like permitted.
Oh, she's
or,
gonna
like,
kill me
somebody
with
didn't,
these
like, come in and
combos.
Stop it, right? He keeps getting. It seems like his big issue is less of like his wife wanting to leave him, and the big issue that he has is the state allowing his wife to walk away
Kick
from
her.
the relationship if he doesn't give like his like express permission
Dumbass.
for her to like leave.
Oh,
the
she only took
relationship.
222 damage.
And I mean, like, this is definitely something that they like. A lot of these people spend all this time talking about how terrible.
She
like,
has
divorce
a
is.
lot of
Basically-
health.
Basically means like you can get a divorce without there being like an expressed reason for why you're getting a divorce that in the specific parameters that the state says that it's okay for you to get a
Ah.
divorce. If like this, that, and the third happens, you can't just be like, you know what, I really don't want to be married to this person anymore. I don't really want them to have anything to do with me anymore. I'm going to, walk away from this relationship. And then the state says, no, you actually can't. Do
Oh,
that.
God.
And then they take you both and they lock you in a padded room together until you fix your marriage. And if you don't fix your marriage, then you just stay in there and die.
Gotcha.
So, that's the that's the world conservatives are working for, I guess.
It's been the most heartbreaking experience of my life. What I consider to be my deepest personal failure. And just so you know, my opinions on parenting and families have not changed. I've always believed that children need a mom and a dad, that divorce is horrible. And I still believe that children need a mom and a dad and that divorce is horrible.
Oh no, the
This is why
swords!
I think, and I made this valiant tweet the other day, something that many other people wouldn't make because
Gotcha.
the,
Oh God,
the
there's gonna be a
cultural
round
mob
two.
may
I'm not
come for
ready.
them, but I'm
I'm
just
not
kind of built
ready.
different, and I'm not subservient to the mob of people.
Oh, she's
who want
dead.
to change
Blow
their
up.
opinions,
Yes.
Who all think the same because they think different.
Get the
than me
fuck
and
out of
say
here.
that's wrong and
She had
bad.
so
But
much health.
I said
And she was so
that
fast,
honestly,
too.
I'm kind of on Crowder.
I wonder if I can get her mech. This might be the one preset mech that I get, that I actually use. That was fucking nuts. I wonder if that melee ability, I don't think some of the boss abilities I can get, because some of them are just too crazy. I haven't seen any laser. There's only a couple laser blades. I don't think I've seen one that can do that yet. That was fucking nuts. Cause she sent out an attack too. She sent out a little ranged melee wave. My second ending. Give me that trophy. Ooh, this game is really fun. Look at me trying to boost out the way. It's not gonna work. You're done, son. Am I? The coral. Oh shit. I killed everybody.
Rubicon was to be abandoned, left a dead planet forever. Meanwhile, the monster who burned the stars
Me.
vanished into the flames, never to be heard from again.
Yeah.
Yet history would forever remember.
Raven?
Fires of Raven.
Oh shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Air. I genocided your entire species, planet. Probably fucked the whole galaxy too. Committed galexide. Alright, give my achievement. Oh, not yet. Still got some Starfield. Thank you, Masaru Toshimido. What do we get? Yes.
621. Looks like you got the job done.
You're goddamn right.
You chose to carry our burden and right the wrongs of the past.
Mm-hmm. I know. I'm good. Very good.
I'm sorry. And I'm grateful.
It's okay. I forgive you.
621.
Yes, Daddy?
There's nothing left to bind you. Whatever choices you make now, I just hope you find your true potential.
That's so fucking sweet. Thanks. What a nice guy. I think I'm gonna sell feet pics on OnlyFans. That's my true passion, Walt. Mind if I called you Walt? I'm sure he doesn't mind. Alrighty then. Let's get some new arena fights.
Registration number RB23.
That's me, baby.
Raven. Authentication complete.
Authenticate these nuts.
Removing MIA status. Restoring access privileges.
You're goddamn right.
This is All Might, the mercenary support system. Welcome back, Raven.
Thank you. I feel welcome. Maybe I could smoke some of that coral.
You've got plenty of experience. Should be ready for whatever Rubicon throws at you. I've picked up some work for you already.
Oh, straight to the New Game Plus. Nice. Alright, so... Arena, analysis. I'm gonna unlock the last 3 during this playthrough. Now, how do I get this ending? So, ending 3, step 1. Why didn't he put the text on the screen? Ending step 1. I need something visual for blind people. Let me just go to... Where is it? What's it called? Reached ending Aliel Lasta Act. Chapter 1, attack the dam complex, choose accept. Okay. Chapter 1, choose escort the weaponized mining ship. Chapter 3, choose prevent corporate salvage of new tech. Chapter 3, choose eliminate enforcement squad. So it's mainly in chapter 3, chapter 4. So it goes from chapter 1 to chapter 3. Alright. Let's check the comments. He's got a good like rate. For mining ship, how did you clear that? It's been kicking my ass. Man. Yeah, everybody's having problems making builds. The lacta ending. The lactation ending. Sortie. Gonna have a lot of combat logs to get. Pending. Attack the dam complex. I didn't get that one. I'll get them after. Don't worry about it for this playthrough. Speed run time. Alright. Yeah. I'm gonna go eat something. Food. Ice cream. Yes.